Good morning. Today is section 89, given February 27th, 1833 in Kirtland, Ohio, for the church, and the prominent doctrine or theme is the word of wisdom. I don't want to say I'm excited for this one, but I listened to the first part of the podcast, which I strongly recommend. I mean, light bulb after light bulb. So good. I'm not excited. It's just, I have a connection now to the section. Like 88, I didn't really have a connection with. I don't think I had one with 87. For a couple of sections, I haven't had a connection, and I feel like I had like the Spirit spoke to me, I want to say, and I don't know, I just have this connection, and I guess I'm excited about it. Anyway, so, historical background, so they're doing the School of the Prophets, and the men smoke pipes and chew tobacco, and Emma has to clean the room, and, the story is that she complained to Joseph that she can't get the floor clean, that, try as she may, the floor does not come clean, and, the prophet walks into a cloud of smoke to teach doctrine, and so he inquires of the Lord, and this is the revelation that is given. Now, in the podcast, they're asking their guest to give context behind the revelation, and he says, it's funny that you asked me to give context behind the revelation, but really there's context in front of this section. This is a revelation not just for 1833, but this is a revelation for future generations. This revelation started here, but its context is present, right now, today, in our lives. And it's not just about coffee, tea, and all that stuff. So, because in the section, it says, where is it? Right here in verse 4, it says, Behold, verily, thus saith the Lord unto you, in consequence of evils and designs which do and will exist in the hearts of conspiring men in the last days, I have warned you and forewarned you by giving unto you this word of wisdom by revelation. So he's saying there are evil men now, and there will be evil men in the future. And I'm warning you now, and I'm forewarning you for the future to watch out. Here's some words of wisdom. And one thing that really is just kind of like solidifying it in my mind and giving me this connection and feeling like I'm like the Spirit is teaching me is this right here. This revelation was addressed to all church members, but it is a sign of the Lord's mercy that it was not initially given as a commandment. Right here. The reason, undoubtedly, why the word of wisdom was given as not by commandment or restraint, and that's in verse 2, but by revelation and the word of wisdom showing forth the order and will of the gods, not by commandment or constraint. I read that in reverse, but anyways. Was that at the time, at least, if it had been given as a commandment, it would have brought every man addicted to the use of these noxious things under condemnation. So the Lord was merciful and gave them a chance to overcome before he brought them under the law. Okay, so in the podcast they talk about this, and the way that they worded it just... Anyways, they said that nowhere in section 89 does it say thou shalt not. It's just saying, I urge you to do this. Just as a certain letter has been put out that says we urge you to do this. It's not saying we command you to do this. Thou shalt go do this. It's not a commandment. It is not by constraint. And the reason for that, they say in the podcast, I don't want to put words into the Lord's or the prophet's mouth, but the reason that the podcast gives for it not being a commandment is that it would have killed people if it was a commandment. They explained back in that time that there was no such way as preserving meat. There was no such way of... There were no refrigerators. There was no pasteurizing. There was no clean drinking water. Children drank beer because it was safer than drinking water. And so, as science caught up with the revelation, then it became a commandment. And we need science to catch up to the certain situation that's happening now before it can be safe for us. The science is being ignored, the science is being lied about, and that's why it's not a commandment. Science needs to catch up. And it says here that it is given for a principle with a promise, adapted to the capacity of the weak and the weakest of all saints, who are or can be called saints. So the letter is urging, it's for the benefit of the weakest saints, the unhealthiest, the ones who are at risk, not the ones who have had the thing and now have antibodies. It gave me such peace knowing that the decisions I've made concerning the letter and my health choices are right for me. I'm not one of the weakest. I'm not at risk. Why do I need to get the thing? I don't want to say the word, but anyways. But also in the podcast, they talk about how this is a spandex principle, to where it expands or constricts depending on each saint's individual situation. Not every human body is the same. Not every human being is the same. It's not going to work the same for everybody. The word of wisdom is not going to be the same for me as it is for Wendy. And this certain thing is not going to react in my body the same as it reacts in that body. And so it expands or constricts with each individual situation. And that, again, is why it's not a commandment, because everybody is different. It gave me so much peace of mind yesterday, because this question has been floating around our family so much, and so much in the world, that I feel like I have to defend myself constantly for feeling the way I do about this. And so I was happy about that I got some kind of peace of mind for it. Oh, and so let's talk about verse 4 now. The evil designs that do and will exist. We can see this constantly. I mean, today, in the 60s, back then, when the revelation was given, they didn't know who the evil men were, who had evil designs. Or is it... evils and designs which do and will exist in the hearts of conspiring men. Let's see, Joseph Fielding Smith says, we today have before us, this is when, it doesn't say exactly when, but It's Joseph Fielding Smith, so I'm guessing 19... Goodness, was it? It's Joseph Fielding, 1914? 1910? Or was he in the 20s? I need to know my prophets better. Anyways, we today have before us abundant evidence of the evils and designs of wicked men. It is seen in the advertising of tobacco, tea, coffee, liquors, and beers and wines. It is also seen in the advertising of prepared foods. So bad did this condition become some decades ago that the national government had to take the matter in hand, and Congress passed laws to control the evils which had arisen. These pure food laws have been very beneficial, but even now there are ways by which the laws are evaded. There are still conspiring men. One who is very prominent and has made the most money during this pandemic, who have evil designs in their hearts towards the human race. Nobody's being honest right now. I swear. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. There are conspiring men. What their plot is, I don't know. Bill Gates, I know he wants to sterilize people. That, my friends, is a fact. Okay? And others to get rich, to have control, bring us under the maybe it's not the men. Let's not do specific men and their specific goals, but it is Satan. Satan is in the hearts of some of the people who are running this situation, and his goal is to bring us into bondage. That is his goal. And he will do it any way he possibly can. Through one way or another. He's going to try. And if we don't follow the Spirit, if we don't listen to what, Heavenly Father is trying to teach us or tell us during this time, we will be lost. Now, that got a little intense there at the end. But I don't know much else to say about this situation. Because, honestly, in doing this Come Follow Me last year and this year, it is just parallel. The scriptures and our life. And just never in my life before has it been so parallel. And it kind of blows my mind when they're just running straight along each other. It just blows my mind. So anyways, that was D&C, section 89, verses 1 through 6. I realize I didn't say that at the beginning, but nope, 1 through 10. Whoops. 1 through 10. So, we will see you tomorrow for 11 through 21. I love you all.